Good morning, Luge friends, family, and fans. The Luge world has come to far eastern Germany, not far from the Czech Republic border and outside of the city of Dresden. We're in Altenberg in the eastern Ore Mountains for stop number 5 on the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup. Hi again, everyone. I'm Tim Singer. Event manager Jens Morgenstern and his crew are working hard to keep this ice in perfect condition, as it has been all weekend long. 3 great races won by 3 different nations. Women's doubles taken by the Austrians, men's doubles by the Latvians, and the men's singles race was won by Germany. Today we've got a couple of races on tap. The women's singles for the first time this year competing on the second day of competition, and then we'll have the team relay. So to help us call the action and tell us a lot more about what's happening here in Altenberg, I'm pleased to reintroduce to the microphone from Team Italy, Leon Felderer. Good morning, Leon.
Good morning, Tim. Good morning, everyone.
These athletes are getting ready. You raced yesterday and you watched a couple of other races. What was the biggest takeaway from all of the sliding in yesterday's action?
Man, this track is just a beast. We've seen so many people have problems yesterday doing the men's competition. So it's definitely not an easy track. It's very challenging indeed. And you know, the windy conditions and the cold ice definitely make it not easier to slide here.
A great opportunity to see all of these athletes warming up. Some of these are live shots, some of them we've banked over the last couple. How about that woman right there, Lisa Schulte of Austria? She has been on the podium every week. What a season she's having, and she likes this track, Leon.
She does, yeah, indeed. She's got the world champion last year in this track, so she's definitely a big fan of the track. And she will definitely look to step on the podium again here this week.
As we see Kendia Aprayod now warming up for Latvia. This could be the breakout weekend for the Germans. And I say this, Leon, because Julia, this is her home track. She's always strong everywhere. Merla has been impressive. Freible coming on in the last few weeks. And I get the feeling Anna Bierreiter is ready to break out and do something this year. Are you seeing a potential German race today?
Well, it's a tough question. I think the Austrians will be strong as always. They are just ahead of the, you know, in the sled deck. They are just ahead of the game compared to all the different nations. But yeah, the Germans definitely have the hometown advantage. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they can make up the lines. You know, make it up with having better lines compared to the Austrians, and but I think also the Latvians might be strong here, because as we've seen yesterday, the Latvian sleds run well here in Altenberg, and they always do. So yeah, I'm super excited, and we cannot forget about Natalie Mark, because she also likes this track very much.
Natalie had a World Championship podium last year in the sprint competition. There's Veronica Ravenna back after a week off. Veronica competing for Team Argentina, and she'll be in your seat for the team relay a little later on today, Leon, calling the commentary for the team relay. Madeline Egla. It's a good look at Madeline warming up. She's number 3 in the World Cup points. 2 victories. She won the races in Innsbruck and Austria. So this is shaping up to be what could be a pretty good race from top to bottom. We will have 30 athletes taking part. A whole number of them had to qualify on Friday in the seeded training group. Is that Sandra?
That's Sandra, yeah. Yep. She also likes this track. She won a World Cup.
She won a race.
She won a race here.
Yeah,
this track.
Yeah, I remember that. Were you at that race?
No. That was before my time. I was still racing.
Snowy
at
day.
juniors.
It may have been a shortened one-heat race.
Yes, it was.
Because of so much snow. Yeah, and we'll talk about the weather. It's a little nicer today than yesterday. We've got weather graphics coming up in a moment, but right now let's take a closer look at this track. It was built in 1981. It was a secret training ground for the then GDR program. And this Altenberg track did produce a lot of great bobsled and luge athletes in the 1980s before the reunification of Germany. So tell us a little bit more about this, Leon. You started higher, the doubles started lower, but the women have a middle start area, right?
The women have a middle start area, yeah. It's actually the nicest speed, let's say it like that, because Curve 9 is not so challenging as it is from double start, but it's a bit easier to make it out of Kreisel, and in 11, 12, 13 you have a little less speed, which makes it a bit safer, let's say it like that. But yeah, this track is a beast. It's no joke if you mess up. Here we can see this is the first corner, start corner from women's start. Then through the Omega here you don't have a lot of speed, but it's very important to be spot on with your steering because you have it's very flat up top, and each steering counts, and you need to make sure that you're on point with your steering. And here out on the long straightaway into the Kreisel, here you have a lot of G-force. You need to catch the pressure, be high at the red flag, and then early into 11, steer out, steer on to 12, and through 13, 14, another high pressure corner, onto the next straightaway in 15, and here you need to be very good at your rollback, and then another big left-hand corner with the last corner, 16 and 17. Here we have more straightaways than we used to have last week in Sigulda, so we will see how that affects the speed of the athletes, because you know, different athletes you prefer different tracks. So this is very different to the track that we had last week in Sigulda. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting race, and here we can see the track looks awesome. It's cold. It's going to be fast.
Yeah, the temperatures. It stayed below freezing all weekend long, unlike last season, so that's made for good racing. That start record by Tatjana Hofner is 7 years old, but Frebel's track record was set last season when she podiumed. Yeah. Now we have the start list. Nina leading things off. Dorothea Schwarz in the number 5 position won the Nations Cup the other day. Then we move to the seeded group. Lisa Schulte, the only athlete in all of Luge this season that's been on the podium every weekend. So she leads the World Cup standings for the first time. And they'll count them all the way down to the young junior Ukrainian, Anna Shkret. The juniors are here for Ukraine this weekend, and she was the last in for the qualifying. Spectators are making their way in, as they always do. They love their luge here in Altenberg. Admittedly, Leon, this may not be the most beautiful spot on the World Cup Tour, but it is one of the most reliable. They have a race every year. They do a great job with the track, and it seems as if every year when we come here, it's the biggest event happening within 100 kilometers. They take it seriously.
Yeah, that is true. But there's not a lot going on here in Altenberg in the general, general town center.
That's
so they
that's
need
right.
to take. Yeah, they love the luge events and the bob events, so that's why they always organize it well, and it's a big event for them.
That's right. Not a lot going on. But in fact, the best restaurants in Altenberg may be the brat stands along the track.
Yeah, or the döner place.
Right. Here's Nina Zugler of Italy, one of 4 Italian women in today's competition. She's 23 years old. Nina lives in the town of Thiers, originally from Bozan. Thiers, where is Thiers, Leon?
So it's a 30-minute drive from Bolzano towards the Dolomites. It's actually a very beautiful place. Yeah. So it's near the Rosengarten. She finished
17th on this track last year at the World Championships. Race underway. the first of 30 to make their way down this Altenberg track.
Maybe a bit high at the end of. Wow. She did a good job at keeping it off the wall here. Out of 9, she had too much pressure. Oh, high line in 11, but handled it well. Maybe it just seemed like a high line.
Oh, that was rough.
Oh. That's a rough run. Yeah.
Right, she did a great job to stay on the sled after curves 13 and 14. Thumbs down from Kevin down at the bottom, but she seems to be okay.
She's definitely okay. It's just hitting walls is not that painful, but you need to be very good at reacting here because it can get so dangerous as we've seen yesterday during the men's competition. If you mess up here 15, 16, then it can get very spicy. And here we can see what happened. Just too much pressure to the right side, and then she was not able to control the sled and hit right, left, and then, yeah, sideways into 15. And at that point, you just need to, react properly to stay on the sled and not have a big crash here. But yeah, she's definitely not pleased. I'm excited to see what kind of role the wind plays during today's competition, because I've heard that yesterday the wind was quite strong. So especially out of 14, there could be some coincidence with the wind hitting and going to the wall. So it should be a bit less strong today. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
23-year-old Tova Koala had a season-best 16th place finish earlier this year, or late last year, I should say, in Oberhof. A lot nicer, not a perfect line into the Kreisel, but stayed off of the wall.
Also a bit too much height at the end of 9, but no big deal. Just little tap before 13, nothing crazy, and too early out of 14. So she also has problems here.
Now to curve 15, 16. This is right outside of the commentary window. We get a live view. She is considerably better than the Italian, fewer mistakes. Let's talk a little bit about the wind that you just mentioned. What happens when you are a luger and you're down there on that track and all of a sudden a big gust of wind hits you?
Then you go to the wall and you don't know why you went to the wall. That's basically what you feel if you catch the wind. And here you can see there's a lot of open space, and if the wind just hits you right, then it might throw you to the wall. But here she was too early out, and that caused the hit then to the wall. It was not a mistake caused by the wind.
The first of the Germans and one of 2 from here in the Saxony region, Melina Fischler. Melina, just 20 years old. She's had 2 top 10s this year, including an 8th place in Oberhof. The Germans spent quite a bit of time here in Altenberg, both in the preseason and then over the holiday during the Christmas, New Year's break.
Yes, they spent a lot of time here. Melina had a big problem at the start, which is very unfortunate. She was too much to the left side and then was not able to make the cut right into the first corner. And just lost a lot of time there. Let's see if she can clean it up here at the bottom of the track. This is a very nice transition, 11-12. Perfect into 13.
She was 700ths back, and now she's cut into that. This could be very close.
No, this
could be almost tied. Now into the green, right?
Yeah.
Well, you wanted her to clean it up, Leon,
and she did.
Just
she did,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, great job down below.
But she will still be not too happy about the start. Here we can see a little bit shaky on the pedals and then just too much on the right side and was not able to cut it in. And then, yeah, you bump into curve 4 and it's so flat up there. If you do that, you'd lose so much time. She was able to still take the lead, but the others had very bad runs with both hitting out of 14. So we will see how far she will get with that mistake at the start. But other than that,
Right.
that was a phenomenal run by the German.
And you got to wonder how much that lead would have been had she not had the problem at the start. Here's Verena Hofer, the second from Italy, and she finished second on Friday in the Nations Cup race, only 0.02 of a second out of the top of the podium.
She's almost a tenth ahead already at the start compared to the Germans, so we can see. And now it's 3/10, so that cost a lot of time, as you can see.
And that costs a lot of time to fish it.
Yep.
Right.
Nice looking position on that.
Through the Kreisel, and Leon, you mentioned earlier that 9 and Kreisel would not be as tricky for the women, and that's been the case. It looks as if this is going to be the challenging spot in this women's singles race.
Yeah, it looks
right
like
here.
it. Yeah.
But she's done a great job, Verena.
Whoa. This is so scary. A late 16, that's about the scariest thing that you can do in Luge.
Yes, just ask Wolfie Kendall from yesterday.
Yeah. It's just
Verena.
so high off a corner, you can, you know, gain so much speed and so much direction. Here we can see very late in and almost up to the roof and down and then up again. And if you hit the roof, then that's where it gets very, very scary and dangerous. But she did a great job. So she lost definitely
She gave away a little.
Yeah,
she gave away a little bit of the lead. She was up to about half a second.
Yeah.
In the end, she has the advantage of 39 hundredths over Melina Fischer. Now, the winner on Friday and the current leader in the standings in Nations Cup, this is Austria's very young athlete, 19-year-old Dorothy Schwarz from Innsbruck. Her first full season on the World Cup. She did not race here in Altenberg last year.
She's a very good flow up top. Maybe a bit high at the end. She's already gaining time. Almost tied with Verena at this point.
Could turn green, and it does.
It does turn green. Nice entrance into 14. Yep, nice and early into 15. This is a nice run.
Really well done from top to bottom. This is an athlete to look out for. The Austrian sleds are equipment we already know are fast. Keep in mind we still have Allmeyer, Egla, and Schulte to come for Team Austria.
Yeah, this gives us an indication of how the Austrians are going into this race.
Exactly.
But this was a very good run from Dorothea. Very nice looking run. She gave a little bit away at the start because she's not here, maybe a bit too high at the end of Kreisel. Didn't see that mistake. But for that, she did a phenomenal job in 11-12.
We move now into the seeded group with Austria leading the way over Italy and Germany. Here are the top athletes. Summer Britcher gets the coveted #1 spot by the luck of the draw. Here among the seeded athletes, the 30-year-old 5-time World Cup winner from the United States. She says her favorite holiday location is somewhere warm. Good luck with that, Summer. Oh, she has a problem.
She has a
right
problem
there
too.
with her direction at the start.
Looks like she slipped on one of her paddles and just had too much directions to the right wall. Similar mistake than what Melina did, but she was able to not bump early to 4, so it definitely cost her less, but it's still not ideal because you lose so much time up there because it's so flat. Ooh, also here.
Fighting it in the straightaway to Kreisel.
Tim, this looks like it might have been a bit of a wind hit that Summer got here as the sled started to break out.
Well, we got a couple of slow-mos. Hopefully we'll see both the start and that exit of Kreisel, or 9 at Kreisel. You know Summer will be shaking her head when she comes up this outrun, a half second in back of Dorothea Schwarz. She is shaking her head.
Yeah, good call, Tim. Here you can see, yeah, she slipped on her third paddle and then just went to the left or to the right wall. But
People
somehow
just don't realize how tough that is.
yeah, yeah. Especially with the ice being so hard, it's so hard to gain grip on the ice and paddle in a straight line. Here you can see that the sled just wanted to start a breakout. She almost dropped her feet. So I don't know. Maybe it was the wind. Might have to ask her.
Well, looking forward, glass half full. She said she looks to be better for the second run.
Yeah.
Back-to-back Americans, both of whom have won World Cup races. And this woman has been on the podium in the World Championships in her career. Emily Sweeney, 31 years old. Born in Maine, grew up in Connecticut, now lives in Italy. Emily has had a podium earlier this year, I believe.
Yeah.
Second place in Lillehammer.
A bit of a weird line going into corner 6. He's losing a bit of time compared to the Austrian.
Indeed.
Actually, quite some time.
This is right, 800s back now. This is where Sweeney is often quick, down here at the bottom of the track.
Yeah. It's a nice looking run here at the
Picking up
bottom.
now. Yeah, she could move into the green by the time she reaches that green line. This will be tight.
Oh, just
600ths of a second. Austria over the USA, Italy in third. Still very early in run number 1.
seemed like it was just a bit up top for Emily here, this run. But this was a very nice transition, 11-12. Nice early entrance into 13. Yep, skid up top.
Natalie Mogg, the one-person Luge Federation, the only athlete from Switzerland. She's been plugging along for many years now on the World Cup, about a decade. Finally made it onto the podium in the World Cup at her home track in St. Moritz, but then had a bigger podium finish last year, Leon, right here in Altenberg at the World Championship.
Yep. And she had a great time in the seated group training, but this looks like she was just a bit sloppy up top. Similar to Emily, she had maybe had a little skid up top, but that loses just, it costs you so much time because it's so flat. Let's see if she can make it up.
Clean exit of Kreisel, now the tricky part of this track, at least for the women so far today.
Nice height at the end of 14. Oh. Picked up her feet a bit.
Should be a top 3.
Yeah.
Third place. Maintained her speed with the Austrian in the lower part of that track. Not a lot of fluctuation with the deficiency, the split times.
That's usually a good sign if you can go with the speed of the Austrians at the bottom.
Yeah, that's true, at the bottom of the track. She trains with the German team. Look, great look at that correction right there.
Yeah, you need to be early, and you do not want to go late into 16 because that will send you right up top to the roof and back down, and you're gonna have problems then.
Now the third of 3 Americans in the seated group today, 25-year-old Ashley Farquharson. Ashley, a product of the Salt Lake City Park City track and the development program for the U.S. Like Germany, the United States has programs based in a couple of different regions in its country.
I'm super excited to see what Ashley can do today because she was so fast in Sigulda. She was just not able to have clean runs. Yeah, also maybe a bit too late in 6, in my opinion. Yeah. Wow, good job at keeping it off the wall here.
Ashley's had some decent results this year, top 10 in all but one competition.
Moving into the green.
Oh, that's going to turn red again very quickly. She was on her way to a leading run, but one mistake, we'll see what it costs her. It costs her 0.2 of a second. We mentioned that yesterday, that one tap is probably equal to 0.2 of a second, and Ashley just proved that.
Always depends on how much you go sideways, but it's definitely, if you go a straight line compared to hitting, it's just faster. Here we can see she was too high at the end of 9, and then had a little tap on the right wall, but she did a great job at not keep hitting, because once you start here hitting from left to right, it's just a ping pong until you go into Kreisel. But yeah, just unfortunate. The hit out of 14. It's a very tricky spot on this track.
Austria in the lead, and Austria now at the top. Dorothy Schwarz has the first place standing at the moment. Here's Barbara Allmeyer. She won 2 Nations Cup races to start the season, and fortunately for her, that kicked her out of the Nations Cup. She's been in the seeded group the rest of the way.
Oh, she's 1,500 behind her teammate.
Not a perfect
exit.
9.
But just losing time compared to her teammate. Also here, a bit too early out. Needed to do a lot of steering to get the nice and early entrance into 11. It's an okay exit. Just not as clean as the run of her teammate.
Considerably back, 0.4 of a second behind her teammate Dorothy Schwarz. So Leon, we know there are all of these great technical wizards for Austria. You got George, and you got Peter, and you've got Christian. Do all of the athletes work, or the coaches work on everyone's sled, or do different coaches work on different athletes' sleds?
Different coaches on different athletes' sleds. I think that's how it is for the Austrians. That's how it is for our team as well. So each coach has different athletes that they support and do their sled for.
Interesting.
So maybe that's why she was not able to go to speed with Dorothea at this time. But she was also not so. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. She was also not as quick with her lines and her driving.
Yes.
Candia is ranked 12th in the standings, still looking for some consistency, and she skids there at the start.
Big skid.
Takes a long time to settle.
This will be too much time that she loses up top. Here we can see this is actually an uphill section at this track. Yeah, just 2.5 tenths behind already.
It's been a tough season for Apriode. Her first top 10 finally came at home last week with a 4th place finish. But now the struggles resume here in Germany.
Yeah, after that mistake at the start, there's just no way that you can make this up. No way. Although the clients look very nice. Maybe a bit too late into 16, but no big issue here for Candia. She was able to pick up some time.
She did. She finished 6th last year at the World Championships here in Altenberg, which means she's somewhat comfortable with this track.
See what happens here. It just, yeah, I don't know, just started to steer too early or too strong, and the sled just started to skid, which is very unfortunate.
A lot is talked about, Leon, about that exit of 9 and how tough it is for the doubles athletes, but the omega curve for the women is not much easier.
You can definitely lose a lot of time there, but I didn't see anyone hit yet out of omega from lady start. But you know, it's so flat, and with that little speed that you have, it's so easy to skid. That is the problem in omega.
Now, lost in all of the talk of the Austrian successes this year has been Julia Tobitz, who this year very quietly has had 3 podiums, 1 victory in the 4 races. She only trails Lisa Schulte by 1 point in the World Cup points standings. And this is her home track where she grew up. A world champion, a 4-time World Cup overall champion, certainly one of the race favorites.
Not a great line from 8 to 9. Let's see now what the time of Dorothea was worth. Nice looking transition here. She definitely knows how to slide on this track as it is her home. Oh!
But then she skids.
13,
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Unbelievably challenging this morning.
But she's able to keep it close.
Yeah, she could have had a 1/4 of a second lead, I was about to say.
Yeah.
She falls just behind. She's not going anywhere. Run number 2 will be fun to watch for Julia Tobitz.
Yeah. She started to skid at some point, which is unusual because you either have a lot of pressure out of 14, but this was pressure on the, halfway out of 14. I don't know. Yeah, she said she was. She thought she was good out of 14, but then the sled just started to break out. Maybe it was the wind. I don't know. Could have been.
Anna-Pia Reiter now world champion in her own right 2 years ago on the track in Oberhof, Olympic silver medalist. The Bavarian with 4 hard paddles and a very smooth settle, coming off of a very disappointing World Championships last year on this track where she finished 24th.
The fastest start time so far, and almost a 1/1200th of a second lead.
Anna is due for a very good race. She hasn't had one yet this season. Her best result, a 5th place finish in Innsbruck.
Nice looking lines. Gradually losing a bit of time compared to the Austrian, but I think that still might be enough to take over the lead.
Should be in the green. Yes, by 4/1000ths of a second. It was a long run atop the leaderboard for Dorothy Schwartz out of the qualifying group. Now she gets relegated to 2nd place. Bierreiter in the lead for Germany.
Bumped a bit too early to 15, but that's no issue at all. Just gave her a nice and early entrance into 16, where you can make up a lot of speed if you cut the first pressure right.
Aus Lettland,
Alina Bota coming off of her win last week at home on the track outside of Riga, Latvia. Alina is currently in 5th place in the World Cup standings. Prior to that victory, her best result this season was a 9th, as the Latvians got off to a very slow start this year in singles, men and women.
Fell a bit back here. So having a better start time than Anna. Losing a bit of time compared to Anna. Not the best lines that we've seen today. Good job. Out of 14. Yeah, it's not the best run. Not the run that she needed to take over the lead. But she was, yeah, we've seen so many people have problems, and it's just such a challenging track here. Here we can see it just a bit sideways through 12 which can get very
one
scary.
horn in that one horn in the background sounds like an animal in distress. Let's hope it's a horn. It's Germany leading over Austria, Germany, the USA, and Switzerland. That's the top 5 with 3 remaining now in the seeded group, including this woman, whose world championship here last year was a bit of a surprise, but it was a preview of things to come. She finished 3rd the following week in the World Cup and has been on the podium every week this year. She had her choice, Leon, Lisa Schulte did, on whether she would wear the World Championship bib or the World Cup leader bib. And she chose the World Cup leader bib because it's the first time she's ever had the chance to do that.
That makes a lot of sense because she will have the World Champion bib for the next 2 races at least. And she had them already for the last couple of races.
Not perfect lines, but staying off of the wall.
I agree. And now she's speeding up.
Into the green. Oh, this is going to be tough. Austrian magic again at work, and great driving by Lisa Schulte. To the finish, how big a lead? 0.03 of a second. Austria, Germany, Austria, the top 3 right now. Although she looks a little frustrated with that run.
Yeah, it was an okay run. Definitely not the cleanest that we've seen today. But Lisa is a very, very consistent slider. She rarely ever has big mistakes. Just, you know, a bit too much direction. But you know, it's no big deal. That's not that big of a mistake. Yeah. It's pretty close up top with the 3 sleds being in 300s, right? 400s?
That's right. So Lisa's parents, they're also going to make the trip to Whistler for the World Championships next month. Now Merla Frebel. It's been fun watching Merla's steady progress from young German athlete to contending German athlete to podium finisher. And now Merla in 4th place on the World Cup. She's been very steady, top 8 in every race. 1 podium, a 2nd place last week.
Yep. Just not able to go to speed with Lisa today, it seems like it. Which is surprising to me because Amalie was so fast last couple of races. And she has a track record here, so she definitely knows how to go fast on this track too.
A little bit of a correction there, but nice job down the center of the bottom part of this track. 8th place. 1800s. Max and Patrick look a little confused down there.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Leon, she just couldn't find the speed.
Yes. Oh, I didn't see that. That might have cost her a bit of time.
I didn't catch that either. Yeah.
But other than that, the run looked clean. Nice transition, 11, 12, 13. But yeah, she will definitely not be happy with the time that she had in the finish.
Slow in getting up off of the sled. Disappointed Merla Frebel.
Disappointed.
1 remaining now in the seeded group. You may recall last year, the Austrians very much spoiled the Germans' World Championship party on this track with all sorts of podium finishes. They hold the lead now. Here's Madeline Egla, who finished 3rd in that World Championship race. Certainly can contend with Lisa Schulte, and she starts it off with the 2nd fastest start time.
Yep. She is a great starter. Madeleine is known for having a good start, and she is making up a lot of time up top compared to Lisa. Not the cleanest exit out of 9, but already a 10th ahead. Let's see if she can go to speed with Lisa at the bottom of the track as well.
This will be an Austria 1-2 finish, barring any major mistake down here. Speed is great.
that will be enough to take over the lead.
72 miles an hour. Austria 1, 2, and 4 in the standings right now, with the Germans in 3rd and 5th. So a little bit of a repeat of last year, at least in the early going. Just such great equipment, such great driving that translates to success in the sport of luge.
It does.
A little bit of a discussion on the YouTube chat room here about whether Austria is strong because of the equipment or because, in Lisa Schulte's case, her great driving lines. It's got to be a little bit of both, right?
It's got to be a little bit of both, yeah, definitely. You know, you need to have the right equipment for the right athlete, and they just do a phenomenal job at figuring that out and making the sled right for the athletes.
Sandra Robacha, originally from Bolzano, makes her way onto the track now on a sled built by 2 Olympic medalists, Ozzy Hasselreiter and Willy Huber, 2 great doubles athletes from Italy.
As expected, she's a bit behind compared to Egli at the start. Oh!
Ooh,
2
back
hits.
and forth. Little taps.
Little taps. That is the good thing. That might have not costed too much time. Interesting line here through 11, 12. Nice exit out
She
of
handles,
boards.
yeah, she handles the bottom as well as anyone. Little skid there. Let's see if this is a top 8. 11th, 53.206 for Sandra Robacha. The last of the Italians.
Yeah, she was not able to cut the first pressure right in 9, and she had too much height at the end, and then right wall, left wall, but just little taps, which is the most important thing. She did not start skidding, so I don't know how much time she lost there, but it was definitely not as worse as it could have been, or not as bad as it could have been.
Our apologies if you occasionally hear a little breakup of our audio. The internet here in Altenberg is not famous for being fast, so we're doing our best. It's a great job, as always, getting these terrific pictures and sounds around the world. Great to have Canada back here on a track that they like, Altenberg. The Canadians did not compete in Latvia last week. 21-year-old Caitlin Nash, the first of 3 from Canada in today's race.
Yeah, she had a big skid out of Omega. Sorry to interrupt you there, Tim, but that was a big mistake from the young Canadian.
That's the more important thing, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the
wind. Could be wind as well,
I'm pretty sure that was the wind.
Yeah.
Because at that point, no athlete wants to go to the right side. You want to be nice and early to the left side going into prize, and she was going to the right side. I'm pretty sure that was the wind. And here again, a hit before 15. Rough run for Caitlin here.
The good news is that Caitlin lists as her favorite track in the world, Winterberg, and that's where we'll all be in about 5 days.
Yep. Maybe she had a bit too less grip today. Let's see what happened here out of 9. It looked okay, and then just, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the wind. Which
the
is
good news, Leon, is that, at least according to the weather forecast, the wind is supposed to get less. It's supposed to die down over the next couple of hours.
Yeah. But you just get both here in Altenberg, and if you're unlucky enough to catch one of those at the exit of 9 or, you know, at the exit of 14, this might be well enough to send you to the wall.
Emberly Susko competing for the first time this season on the World Cup for Canada. She had a couple of good results, notably on the North American tracks last year. Still just 19 years old. She went between juniors and seniors last season. Her home is Whistler, so she's probably looking forward to those World Championships just 3 weeks away.
Yeah, again. Oh man, that is so unlucky. And now she's just fighting the lines. Ah, that is so unlucky.
Top 20 will make it into run number 2. That should be a realistic goal for Canada to put a couple of them there. Trinity Ellis still to come. But right now for Ember Lee, it is an 18th place standing. I'm gonna send a message to some of our spies along the track, Leon, to see what the deal is with the wind.
Yeah, that has to be the wind. There's no other chance. And she, yeah, see how big of a loop she drove. This might be the red flag at the end of Crisis, so there's not a lot of wind there, but you can see the flag waving in the back.
Okay, that's a great look at the runners on the ice and why it's so challenging at the start for these great luge athletes, because there are no grooves like a skeleton sled. You're on your own trying to keep the sled straight, and a nice job there. A couple of paddles, a little rough on the settle.
Big hit
for Karina Buzatoy of Romania.
Just takes so long till you get enough speed to make up for the time that you lost at the start with such a mistake. And she has the same problem here now. She looks looking fine here, going into the Kreisel. A little loop. Sometimes a loop is actually helpful in the Kreisel because you need to have enough height at the end of Kreisel to have not a lot of pressure going out and have a nice entrance into 11. A bit too early out of 14 and oh man. Late 16 always gives me
from top to
goosebumps.
bottom.
Late 16 always gives me goosebumps. So this can go so wrong. Let's see what happened here at the start. Oh, she missed the putt at the saddle and then was not able to make the steer in. And bumped early to curve 4. Curve 3 actually. And here she was too early out and the pressure cut. She was not able to control the sled enough.
Very disappointed, officially no second run, but I believe we'll see Karina later today with Romania as they return to the team relay competition. Now Trinity Ellis, 22 years old, has been on tour for a while. When she was about 18, she made her debut on the World Cup. Trinity, so far there are 3 races, 2 top 20s, an 18th place and a 19th place. So I'd be willing to say a top 15 would be a reasonable goal.
So I could hear a little skid going out of Omega. Similar to Caitlin's skid. Loop in the Kreisel, but not a big deal. As I said, it helps you only with the exit.
Trinity, originally from the city of Vancouver, now lives in Pemberton. Skidding there.
Skidding there.
Not a lot of damage.
Not a lot of damage, but still not ideal. Not what you want to have happen as an athlete. You want to be spot on race day. But it's just so challenging on this track to, you know, have a perfect run. Might be the most challenging track to have a perfect run on.
Canada right now in 16th, 18th, and 19th place. A couple of them should make it into run number 2, but we'll have to wait and see.
This was, yeah, it was also weird pressure in the middle of the straightaway.
And my sources trackside, Leon, are saying that the wind squalls sometimes occur out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And actually not just in that 9-10 section, but curves 14 and 15, the wind seems to be blowing as well.
Yeah, these are gonna be the wind spots, let's say it like that. Out of 9 and between 14 and 15, these are the open spots where the wind catches you. And if you're unlucky enough to have a time where the wind is blowing, then it might very well send you to the wall, which is, you know, at that point you might ask the question, is this even fair? Is this a fair competition?
Hulian Hu is the top-ranked Chinese athlete, although she's still looking for her first top 20 result, her first 2-run race of the season. She's been at every competition. It's been great to see China full-time this season.
Small tap going into 13, but nice looking exit out of 14, nice and early into 15. Good job here at the bottom from the Chinese.
22nd place, Leon. The season ends on Hulian's home track outside of Beijing, China. You competed there at the Olympic Games. Are you looking forward to going back? What are some of the great parts about that track?
I'm very much looking forward to going back to that track. It's an awesome track. It looks incredible. You know, they did it's very aesthetic. It's just you know, it gives you a great feeling of sliding. I'm very much looking forward to being in China without all the COVID going on. So that will be a different experience than what we had for the Olympics.
Yes, we can actually go around and see the city.
Yeah.
Yuliana Tunitska now up for Ukraine. Season best 16th place result last week in Sigulda, which is effectively the Ukrainians' home track. And what a great story in the team relay for Yuliana and her country mates last week.
Yeah,
in the relay.
That was a great story for the Ukraine. Such a crazy race, wasn't it?
Bronze medal, podium position, first ever in team relay for Ukraine. Let's see if Yuliana, first things first, before this afternoon's team relay, can she make it into run 2?
Nice exit out of 9. This looks like a solid run here from Juliana. Very nice lines here. Little tap, but no big deal. This is a solid run.
Let's see how it translates place-wise. Unfortunately, not a second run, 22nd place, despite the clean lines. Among facts on her biography, Juliana says she is trying hard to learn Finnish language, which of course will get her far in all of the luge tracks in the Spanish-speaking countries, which is exactly.
Here we can see the little tap before curve 15. Yeah, I'm surprised to see her fall that far behind.
Emma Eriksson of the USA, the final American brought onto the World Cup full-time this season. 21 years old, she's out of the Park City program. Steady improvement, including a season best 16th place finish in Innsbruck.
Lines are looking great here from the American. Maybe a bit too late into Chrysler and a big loop. Not ideal. A lot of fight at the end of 11, which caused her to bump early to 12, but she did a great job at correcting that. But this is
still having skidding issues here down at the bottom.
Big problems here. But this
fighting her way to the finish, 21st place.
Yeah.
Just missing out, so Emma will have to pack that sled away and late Green Bay Packers, the second run.
Here we can see the big loop in the Kreisel. Just not able to steer on the right pressure points. It's not ideal. And also here, very early to curl 12. Very, very early to 12. She did a great job at correcting that. And by the time curve 13 comes, she was already back online, which is an indication of how great she is at reacting to having problems.
Top 5 is entirely held by Austria and Germany. That was much earlier among the seeded athletes. We have 5 now remaining. 5 athletes to go here among the qualifying group. Here's the second entry from China, Peishan Wang. A third Chinese athlete just missed out by 1 spot on making the field of racers this weekend.
Oh. She dropped her feet.
Foot down, and very quickly. Is that instinct or is that a knowledgeable correction?
No, that's just instinct. Because she could feel the sled starting to break out, and she wanted to fix that as soon as possible. That's why the athletes dropped their feet to stabilize the sled.
Really very clean down here at the bottom.
Yeah.
25th place, appearing unlikely now, in fact guaranteed now, that none of the Chinese athletes will be competing later today, or will be competing in run number 2.
Just a bit of an overcorrection, and then as she could feel the sleds wanted to break out, and she dropped her feet just really quick.
Interesting iPhone camera setup there. Veronica Ravenna now back after a week off. Veronica from Team Argentina. Her best result this year, a 26th place finish in Oberhof. I'm wondering, she really struggles. A couple of paddles and bucked around a bit at the start.
Big problems for Veronica. It just keeps going, just so many skids up top already. That's not how you want to start into the World Cup race. And the tough thing about having problems up top is that you still need to go down the track. You still have so much of the track left, and that really can, start your mind to play tricks on you.
Is that the challenge, to get that out of your head as quickly as possible?
As quickly as possible, and that is a big challenge. Because you will see a lot of people that struggle up top, that they will just, keep going and... Oh no! Oh no! Oh, wow.
Great piece of athletic work for Verona to keep on that sled, despite some of the hardest hits we've seen in this race.
Yep, that was scary. That was very, very scary. And it started already at the start here, and this just kept going. Here, just too much pressure to the right side. Hit, and then very late into corner 15, up high. Very late into 16 then. That's the consequence. And she was just going sideways into 16. That makes it even scarier. And here we can see she was very lucky that the sled did not start to skid upwards, as she could have hit the roof, and then it gets really dangerous.
She looks okay, which is good news, and better news we hope to hear from Veronica later today with the commentating of the team relay. And she'll head to her home track in Whistler for the World Championships. Now Klaudia Domorodska of Poland. Klaudia began the season in a little dubious fashion as the very first sled in the very first team of the very first relay competition, where she failed to hit the pad. So that was a very short run for Team Poland, who they've struggled in team relay. Let's hope better things will happen later today.
This looks like another hit by the wind. The exit was looking great out of 9, probably one of the best that we've seen all day. And just the sled started steering at some point, so this is an indication for wind, in my opinion. But great looking lines here at the bottom.
She had a 21st place last week in Sigulda, looking still for her first top 20. And she will get into the second run. So
this is a great exit out of 9, and the sled just, it went to the left side too early. I don't know if it was a steering maneuver that she was doing too early, or if it was the wind. But she will definitely be happy to make it into the second run.
Klaudia Domradzka of Poland through for the day. 2 more remaining here in run number 1 of the World Cup Women's Singles Luge from Altenberg, Germany. Team Ireland's 27-year-old doctor, Elsa Desmond, spends the off-season now in Iceland. Very much a historian in the sport of luge. Elsa knows a lot about this sport and also is very instrumental in trying to build an Irish program and fund it and get a couple of other athletes involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's very committed to the sport, which is just impressive, as she's a full-time docker off season and then just travels around the world to go down on an icy hill on a sled very fast, which is an incredible story.
28th place for Elsa Desmond, short day for her.
Yeah.
But a weekend where she qualifies, actually makes it into the field, is a bit of a success for Elsa.
Yeah, that's Elsa's main goal, to qualify for the World Cup. Here we can see her just sideways into 12. Overcorrected already in 11. And then here again, problems out of 14. Not an ideal run.
So much wind.
Final sled of the run, Ukrainian junior, Anna Shkret, 19 years old, from the city of Lviv. She lists as one of her favorite tracks the one in France, in La Plagne. We don't hear much about that track. Have you been there, Leon?
No, I've never been there. Never slid there, never been there.
Well, if you stick around for the 2030 Olympics, I believe that's where it will be.
That's the plan, at least, but we will see. We will see. It's still a long time to go. Nice transition here.
Anything, yeah, top 24 could conceivably get Anna into the team relay later today.
Yeah. This is an okay run. Okay looking run.
To the finish, final sled of run number 1, 28th place, so we will likely see Juliana Nitska. And she crashes there.
Over.
And she made it cleanly across the finish, Leon, but interestingly on that last sled, the problem down at the bottom, which is sort of a preview of later today for team relay.
Yep.
Where is that pad, and how difficult will it be compared to last week?
So there's actually one more curve compared to the usual race. So, and out of 17, it's very, very hard to go out without hitting a wall, and that's what happened to Anna here. And
that's right here, right?
Yeah, that's where you had to hit the pad, and usually the timing stops already like 50 meters before that. So now you have to think about doing another curve, which can get tricky, and so we will see how athletes handle that.
Austria 1, 2, and 4 with Anna Bierreiter, the top German, in third place. Julia could certainly make a move in run number 2. Emily Sweeney sits in 6th place as the top American. 3 from the USA, a couple from Latvia as well. And if we look at these split times, let's see, we only have about a 1/10 of a second separating 2nd place from 6th place. So this could be a lot of fun, Leon, in
This
run
will
number 2.
be a lot of fun.
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, Austria is going to be tough to beat, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think Julia was very fast in the first round. She had big problems out of 14. So we could see her moving up a few spots if she's able to clean it up. Dorothea sitting in 4th place is absolutely phenomenal for the young Austrian, but she had a phenomenal run as well, so she will definitely look for another run like that. And you know, anything can happen here in Altenberg. It's super windy, it's super cold, the ice is fast, the track is fast. This track is just a beast, and you know, anything can happen here.
All right, that's the situation here in Altenberg. Different locations, same players, as Austria and Germany will fight for the top of the leaderboard. You saw the graphic. The race begins at 55 after the hour. We will be back 5 minutes before that to preview run number 2 from Altenberg.
We shape the clean mobility of the future and inspire our customers with smart solutions. Developed and produced by dedicated people around the world.